Hello, everyone. Yes, I know a little bit later than I usually start these things, but I have been working on some photo editing and stuff for my submissions of my major projects. So time got away with me on that, but I am here, back ready to start doing some patchwork. So hello, I'm Katie Silverwings. I am a glassblower, textile artist, and all-around Renaissance woman currently working out of my home studio, meaning my flat, in Farnham while I am waiting for perhaps someday the university to reopen, although we are on Easter break right now. And today I am working some more on one of my patchwork banners. You can see in the background there behind me some of the ones that I've done previously. And today I am working on adding another round of stripes to this particular piece. I'll be starting with adding two white stripes here, and then adding some more colored stripes on it. And eventually this will, 20 of these together will make up a nice long patchwork banner. Just give me a second to make sure all of my camera angles are right, and then I'm going to move over to the other side to start pinning and getting my strips ready to go. My mother and I were talking about some things earlier. Hello. So, as you can see, yet again, it is an absolutely gorgeous day here in Farnham. We do have some clouds, but you can see how much light is in my house right now, and it's considerable. So I'm just going to get my white strips that I've made before. And hi, Lupe. We were in kindergarten together. It's so cool that I'm talking to you from the other side of the world now. So I have some white strips ready to go, and I'm just going to start pinning those onto these strips, and then I may end up having to, I will most likely end up having to tear some more white strips. And of course, if anyone has questions, comments, etc., or would like to say hello so that I can say hello back to them, you're more than welcome to leave me a comment and I will handle that. So I'm just going to cut the selvage off the end of this white strip so that it doesn't show up when I seam everything together, and start pinning. So the white strip I'm putting on now is going to go across this line on all 20 of these patchwork pieces. Oh, wow. So I do hope everything back in Floyd County is going well right now, and that perhaps the craziness of the world has not reached y'all quite yet, since you're a little bit further out from civilization. So there's the first one all pinned and ready to go. Just going to leave my stack of pinned ones here on the computer where y'all can hold them for me. Hi, Angela. Again, it does tell me when people I'm friends with join, so I will say hello to you if I see you. Seems like all of Texas is bored enough to watch me patchworking things today. Well, I do hope as an essential worker that you remain safe and healthy through all of this, and thank you for helping keep the world running while it's gone mad. And there's another one all pinned and ready to go. The idea with these blocks is that eventually I'll be able to put them together kind of so that they make an overall design with the different stripes touching each other. Well, I hope this is at least entertaining if you're multitasking, working, and watching me pin things to fabric. Um, that's why I'm doing this, is to keep y'all company while you're doing whatever it is you have to do today. And so that I feel like I have some company, because I have been in my house for almost 2 weeks now. Yeah, it'll be 2 weeks as of tomorrow afternoon that I have been in here without having any contact physically with other people. Which, granted, I grew up in Floyd County in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not that alien to being mostly by myself, but this is kind of taking it a bit far. And there's another one of those. Oh, that's what happened. I turned that one over to you. So there's another one. It does take me a while because I'm doing 20 of these blocks all at once to get them all pinned and then all sewn and then all pressed and repeat ad nauseum, because there's a lot of strip pinning and pressing on these, but I do love the pattern. And thank you. I'm glad to hear that. So I'm always glad when I hear from people from back home, just so that I know that the world's still kind of moving on, even though I'm somehow completely elsewhere. But yeah, thank you. And there's that. There's another one. I have to say, never thought I would be hanging out in my house doing patchwork with the internet watching me. That's a new one. Did not expect that to happen, but I'm kind of glad it has. If only because I do enjoy showing y'all what I'm up to. I'm sorry it's nothing more exciting than this. And there's another one. And I am, in fact, going to have to tear a few more white strips to do this one, because I have run out of pre-torn ones. And there's that one. Now I'm going to get my white fabric out and I'm going to tear a couple of, yeah, it is. Just to answer your comment, yeah, it is my way of trying to do something both for me and for everyone else. So I'm just going to get some white fabric and tear it into strips now. Because it actually turns out it's much easier with this kind of 100% cotton poplin to just tear the strips straight along the grain than it is to line them all up and cut them. Less folding involved too. Takes less time. And all I have to really do is make sure that the strips are not wrinkly after I'm done, so I may end up having to press them. Just set those here with you for a moment. And if you do not like the sound of tearing fabric, you might want to mute this. And there's one. I know I'm going to need at least 4 because I have several more white layers that go on this particular pattern. And 2. Three. 4. All right. Don't know why my nose is itching. I think it's because I opened the window earlier and let all the pollen in. So I'm just going to set up my iron and really quickly press these just to get any wrinkles out of them. And then I will go back to pinning things. Just have to get all the strings off the sides of them. I have to get so many strings out. So there's one strip, all nice and neat and pressed. Just gonna set that there. There's the second strip. Well, I'm glad this is interesting, and congratulations to you for working for the John Deere stuff. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. And one more, and then I can go back to pinning everything together. I don't know if you can hear it, but because it's such a nice day, there are so many happy birds singing outside my window. Granted, I don't live all that far from the park here, but it is very tweet outside, just all the bird songs. I would have this window open, except there's a little problem with the latch, and it will never close again if I open it, and if a strong wind hits it once it's been opened and hasn't been shut right, then it just bangs open, and yeah. But you can see the sunshine, which sunshine in England I was not expecting, but ever since people were told to stay in their houses, the weather has been amazing here. All right, there we go. All pressed. Now I can turn the iron off for a bit, get all the strings off of my foot. And something that's pleasant and somewhat relaxing for people to watch while you're doing whatever else it is you're doing with your day. Because I know I'm not all that exciting, but I like to think that the patchwork and things is soothing, because it's soothing to me to be working on this. And I am very, very glad that I'm doing a project that lets me have something physically that I can do while I'm stuck in my house, because all of my submissions for my project are online now. And I'm going to be having to take all the photos I was taking last week and turn them into a PDF to submit. This is what my project is, and this is what I planned to do that I will probably not get to actually do before I graduate, because the workshops are, by necessity, going to probably still be closed after our Easter break is over. Which I understand. It's really sad, because I do love being in the workshops playing with molten glass. But I also love this. And there's another patchwork piece ready to sew. And there's another one. And there's that one. You can really, with the light behind them, the patterns on the dyed fabric are really nice. I'm especially proud of the fabric I'm using on this since I've dyed all of it myself, but it does make me really happy when they're hanging in front of the light. And I'm going to need to remember to tell my professors about that when I submit my assignment. And there's that one. Glad I cut more than one strip. There's another one. And there's that one. And 2 more. And last one. And there it is. So now I'm going to put these 2 bits in my scrap bin, and then I'm going to turn you around so that you can see me sewing these. I do have to tilt the camera down here. So if you haven't met her before, this is Gertrude. She's my sewing machine. She's almost 100 years old, I think, or at least her model is. She's a 1924 Singer. And yes, she does have a hand crank. I have to turn to sew, but she makes a really, what I think is a really pleasing sound. I also need to turn my light on, and hopefully this won't, yeah, there we go. The light's more so that it bounces off of the things over there and gets to where I can see. Let's see. There we go. So now I'm just going to sew a nice straight seam on all of these. And once I've sewn them, then I'll take them over and pin them. So I do hope this is enjoyable for y'all. I personally really enjoy the sound that she makes. Well, it looks like today y'all are in for a treat. My bobbin has run out. I never notice until I get to the end of the seam, and then, oh, there's no bobbin thread. So I'm going to have to repin that before I get started. But first, I'm going to turn the sewing machine so you can see this a little bit better. Let's see if that should work. So Gertrude's bobbin threader is set up right here. I don't know how well you can see that. So yeah, so the bobbin threader is set up here. So I take the bobbin out from underneath, and it gets put into this little thing here so that the thread will wheel on, which means I need to actually unthread her. Lift the foot. There we go. So I lift the foot and I unthread all of this. So now this comes around here, and let's see. I always forget which path it has to take. Give me a minute. Luckily, Gertrude came with her manual. And there it is. It's kind of beaten up, but again, she's a very old sewing machine. So where's my page on threading the bobbin? Okay, so So these are the pages that I'm looking at as I'm working on threading the bobbin. Pass the end of the thread through the wire guide into the lower eyelet of the thread guide. Ah, okay. That makes sense. I have to turn her this way so I can see what I'm doing. So. So into the lower eyelet of the thread guide, then into the notch at the top. Ah, there we go. I've been winding my bobbins wrong this whole time. And then where did I set my bobbin? Here's my snips. All right, I know I had a bob. Oh, I feel really silly. I had put the bobbin into the bobbin winder. So, through the hole in left disc from inside. Sewing machines. There's a lot of fiddly little parts that go with things, but I do really like working with this machine, especially because I'm not going to have to use a power converter on her when I get home. All right, so through the left disc from the inside and with the left hand, press onto bobbin winder spindle and hold. Turn until the small pulley fits in. And press down until the latch clicks. And this goes here and here. Today, I mess around with my sewing machine. So, okay, there we go. That should do that. So now I'll pick that up in a bit. So, loosen here. There's a way of loosening this sufficiently that mechanism doesn't turn anymore, and I never quite managed to get it to work. So now the manual can go back into here, and the lid can go back on. I am very grateful that this sewing machine came with a manual, because otherwise I wouldn't know what I was doing half the time. It took me forever to just figure out how she likes being threaded. My snips on there. And now I'm going to turn her back so you can see this, and watch here. Next time, hopefully I will have a webcam so that you can actually see this up close. The idea is that this weird way of winding keeps the tension nice on the bobbin thread, and then I just keep turning this crank until it's full. even manage to get the foot mechanism to stop moving this time. Normally I miss that. So I'm just gonna continue winding my bobbin. I think next time I wind a bobbin, I will, unless I can have a webcam I can move around before then, I will make a little video of it and put it up on my Instagram so that all of you can see it up close, because it's quite fun to watch. It's just this pleasing gear system moving, but I can't quite figure out how to get my computer and the webcam in the right position so you can see it better than this. It is a little bit of a workout sewing with this machine. I'm counting this as exercise. There we go. And it clicks just like that once the bobbin is wound. And then all I have to do is take the bobbin off, unthread all of this nonsense. And then put the bobbin back in. It goes like this. Thread comes around like that and across and goes into place. And then I take my snips and I'm just going to snip a bit of that thread so that it's not, because now I have to wind all this up. So the way that this particular sewing machine works, so to wind her so that I can sew with her, the thread goes down here, up past this little guide wire, then down here, I believe. I'm gonna have to get the manual out. I've forgotten how I had it threaded. So okay, so I'll show you on the diagram. This is how my sewing machine threads. Which means it goes, yeah, I was right, down and up. Then it goes through this little loop here. Into the wire guide there, and then it comes down here, and then it'll go through the needle. There we go. Now I just have to thread my needle, and Gertrude, unlike a lot of modern sewing machines that thread front to back, the thread here goes from one side to the other. So I put my needle threader in, and gives me a much bigger hole to thread through. And then just pop the thread through there. Oh, not like that. Don't wrap around yourself like that. There we go. And then this tail comes out through here, and I lower this to pop the bottom thread up and pull those both back. And now I can go back to sewing, for which I'm going to need to pin this again. And here's that thread. I go through quite a bit of thread when I'm doing these projects. Not as much as when I'm doing free motion embroidery with one of my mother's sewing machines back home, but I do go through a considerable amount of thread with all the piecing that I do. Occupational hazard. Hello, Cheyenne. I just saw that you were here. And to answer your question, Lupe, that I had not seen yet, I am actually still working out what my plan after I graduate is. That's actually one of my assignments. So I know I want to continue doing the kind of work that I'm doing, which is a combination of patchwork and textile work and glass blowing. I'm just not entirely sure yet where I'm going to be doing that. I have a few applications that I'm working on for different artist residencies or extended training programs. I have a couple of universities I'd love to do a master's in all of this in that their applications open up in October. So for the short term, my plan is to graduate, and that is as close as I can get to a firm answer. But that is one of the assignments that I have to do in order to graduate, is to figure out what my options are, what my goals are, and how to get there. Most likely I will be moving back to the States within the next 6 months or so, because I'm allowed to stay in this country until December, but because that's when my visa expires. And yeah, so hopefully I will be making art somewhere in the States. If anyone knows a place that would like to have glass and patchwork exhibited, let me know, because I am looking for places I might be able to exhibit my final body of work once I have a chance to make things for it, since our graduate show for our degree show for people graduating this year is going to be entirely online, as far as I have been told thus far. So I will invite all of you to my degree show because it'll be online, but I won't get to have that ability to really display my work to the best of its qualities. Stuff happens. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying that I can share what I'm doing with my friends and family wherever they might be. To move my pen pot back where I can reach it. And I'm just going to go ahead and snip this one so I can show y'all kind of how this block is progressing. So as you can see, it's a rectangle now. When I add the next white strip, it'll become a square again, and then it'll get 2 more colored strips, and then it'll be done. So I'm just going to set that one up here by the computer. And I'm going to continue sewing the rest of these. So I have 19 more to sew. Exciting things. Don't even want to think about how long it took me to thread my sewing machine and get the bobbin set up, but I hope that that was enjoyable for y'all. Sewing works much better when you have a full bobbin, as opposed to an empty one like I had a few minutes ago. And here's another one ready to sew. I'm really happy I didn't have any technical difficulties setting the stream up today. Whether that means I'm getting better at this or whether that just means that the internet connection here is actually decent today. Hopefully it'll stay that way. But I do hope anybody who is watching is enjoying this, because I'm enjoying it, so. Again, anybody has questions or things they'd like me to talk about, do leave me a comment on the side, and as soon as I look up and see it, I will answer it. Keep having to move the fabric out of the way so that there's room for me to keep sewing. This does take quite a while at every stage for me to do anything. But that's partially because I'm making 20 blocks all at once. So eventually this will be a quilt where, or not a quilt, but a wall hanging patchwork piece where there are white diamonds on the inside of the pattern with the colors all around them. And then after I finish this one, then I'm going to do one that is the opposite of that. But for right now, finishing this one. It's going to take me a while though. Getting there. I'm almost to the bottom of the stack. Two more. And last one. Then I can go and press all of these open and we can see how the blocks look. All right, so now I'm going to clip all these apart, and then I will take them over to the ironing board and press them. So now is a good time if anyone has something they want me to talk about specifically, or if you have a question or anything like that, or just want to say hi, I can definitely answer those things right now because I'm not looking at the sewing machine. Also, if you hear a high-pitched chirp, that does not mean a bird has gotten into my flat. It means that the smoke detector is chirping because even though it's tied into the mains, it still wants its battery changed, but it's actually physically impossible to remove it from the ceiling to fix that. I have tried, and yeah, so occasionally there is a chirp. I barely ever hear it anymore, but yeah. The other sound you're hearing is this, the sound that my snips make. there's a lot of slow steps involved in patchwork. That's part of what appeals to me about it, is that I can do this and it takes a while, but I get something beautiful at the end and I can kind of focus on something that's slower and not as distracting and terrifying as the bulk of the news, internet, etc. is most so often, because I don't know about you, I get oversaturated with the news of the world and it makes it very hard for me to focus and realize that there are still good things in the world sometimes. So that's why I do stuff like this, is so that everyone who wants to can have a little bit of beauty in their life and have an opportunity to just kind of relax and enjoy something that is less horrifying than the world at large. Which, of course, things will get better. They usually do. Someday. Even in the short term, little bitty things will get better here and there. I mean, already people in this country, at least, are no longer freaking out about hoarding toilet paper, according to the source. I have not left my house to find out if this is true, but I like to imagine that it is. So, anyway, I've got all of my blocks ready to press, so I'm going to turn you around to where my ironing board is, and I'm going to start pressing them. And hopefully it will be something nice that comes out of these, and then guess what? I'll be pinning things again. So we're going to just turn around here. Get a little bit of a whirlwind view of my house. And now you can see outside all the lovely trees and some of the buildings near where I live. It's actually a really nice little town here. Farnham is beautiful. If I'm ever allowed by the government to leave my house again, I will film a little tour of my stomping grounds for anybody who's interested to see where I'm hanging out these days. All right, and I need to put more, I need to put more water in my iron before I start. Be right back. Haha. So I have a little cup here to fill it with water. And now I can just fill up my iron so that it will have a little bit of steam. With this particular fabric, because it takes some wrinkles just from the way it's been folded, I am using a little bit of steam in my iron when I'm pressing. So there's that. I just turn the iron on from the switch down below. And now we all get to see how these blocks are turning out, which is exciting. So I'm going to just press all the seams away from the center of the block. Once my iron heats up a little bit. And yeah, you can see in the background over here some of my fabric that I've dyed for this project, and again, more of my glass. There's glass everywhere in this house. If you see something particularly intriguing, ask me what it is and I'll show it to you. But for now, more pressing. Also using the steam to really set the seams as I'm pressing them. Make sure everything stays nice and crisp and straight. Occasionally it makes dragon sounds. All right, so there is the first one. As you can see, it's a rectangle right now. When I add the next stripe on it, which will be along this side, it'll be white and then it'll become a square again. So there's one. Just gonna set those under the pin pot as they finish. These blocks get bigger kind of exponentially. Every time I add a stripe, I'm adding 2 inches to the final block. So they're currently 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 inches across in one direction and 8 in the other. So once I add this next strip, they will be 10-inch blocks all around. So there's that one. I do like how the sunlight shines through these. They're going to be so nice when they're hanging. Move my pins out of the way for a moment. So there's There's that one. Just move my piles of things so that you can see these better. There we go. I'm finally getting my camera angles sorted out here. I still need to order myself a webcam so that I can have an overhead shot when I'm working. If anyone has webcam recommendations for something like that, please do let me know. I know very little about this kind of technology. I'm just doing this for fun. And there's another block. You can really start to see how the pattern is forming in these. And I love how the seams shine through with nice little shadows in the light. It really adds a dimensional quality to these when they're hanging. Yes, I know I sound like an art student, because I am. But and again, I hope that the video quality and the stream are working well for you. Sometimes my apartment has little hiccups with the Wi-Fi, just because it's a very old building and the internet cables had to be run through existing pipes and things. And you know, this building used to be a church. You can kind of see a little bit of that left over in the way they've done the architecture down here. And for those of you who saw my live stream of packing parts of my glass into boxes and getting things out, there's that one. It does still have the original window frame downstairs. Feel like a church mouse, or bat, more likely, because I live in the rafters. So one of the projects I have planned for me to sew after I finish my banners for my major project, I'm going to be making a tool roll to keep all of my glass blowing tools in, which I'm excited about. And I hopefully will have some nice fabric left around to use for that. I have some that my friend Beth got me that I'm probably going to use as the base for it. But my hope is to make something with lots of little tool pockets so that I can, as I add to my collection of tools, have places for them to live. I might do something modular. I don't know yet. And there's another finished block, or not finished, but another finished seam pressed. They're not quite done yet, but they're going to be so pretty when they are. And there's another one. You can really see all the color variations in the hand-dyed fabrics when they're like this, especially against the white. And there's another pressed block. And there's another one. And another one. See, these would be perfectly fine as rectangular blocks, but that's not what I'm going for this project. So I'm going to keep going. I do like this ironing board. It has a nice little holster for my iron to sit in. And there's that one. And you can see with the seams how I've been pressing them away from the center block, so to strengthen the block and to make it so that they lay nicely. And will stay pressed neatly as I'm sewing them. And another one. This is going to be so nice when it's all put together. And there's that one. And last one, then I can get to pinning. Again, just a constant pin and sew and press and pin and sew and press until finally things are done. I'm just going to turn my iron off for now. And there's the last one. So now I'm going to get my white strips back out because my next group of strips are going to go along this segment of the piece on every one of these. So I've got my 2 white strips here. Hopefully that will be enough. I have a feeling it won't because this is a very long seam. In which case I will have to do a bit more tearing and pressing. Need to get my pins back over here. I keep having to re-empty my pin pots back and forth because it takes so many pins to keep all of these blocks moving. So there's that one all pinned and ready to go. Just going to set that here with you for a bit. I will say the streams are making it easy for me, or a little bit easier for me to figure out how long the patchwork actually takes me. Because so far it has been, this is about 7 hours so far, I think, that I've put into this particular set of blocks. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's about 7 now, going on 7.5. So I'll be able to really see how long one of these banners takes me as an estimate, because that's the sort of stuff they want me to be chronicling. So there's that one. So there's that one. I'm definitely going to have to tear some more white strips because I can already see that 2 is not going to be enough for this. But I'm going to finish pinning as many as I can first. Can I have another bit of strip in here? No. Okay, so As usual, just cutting the selvage off so that it won't show up in the final piece. And then pinning. And there's another one. And ta-da! I have just enough strip for one more, and then I'm going to have to tear some more strips. And there's that one. So now I'm just going to tear some more strips from my white fabric. And hopefully this will be enough to finish these blocks. I do have more white sitting elsewhere, but it's a slightly different tone of white, so I'm trying to do as much as I can just with this. So my arms aren't long enough for this. Incidentally, if anyone ever needs me to rip stuff sheets into bandages, I'm probably going to be good at that. There's two. 3. 4. And I still have a little bit more left, so I'll save that for a bit. going to be fun when I get this banner done is calculating just how much fabric has gone into it. And just like before, I'm going to press these strips before I start pinning anything to them so that they'll not have any really big wrinkles when I gotta get all strings off. So when I sew things, hopefully these pieces will not have any really big wrinkles. I'm just going to turn my iron back on and iron these. Isn't this riveting? Pressing also helps smooth down the tiny little bit of warped edge that's on these strips from where I tear them. But all of that warped edge goes directly into what the seam allowance is, so it's not going to really show in the end, which is great. So there's the first one. And this one's got lots of strings. Some of these end up stringier than others for some reason. And yes, I am just letting the strings fall to the ground, but I will pick them all up when I'm done. So now I'm just going to press this one. And it does have a fold line in it, so I need to be extra careful to press that out. I'm actually going to turn this over the other direction to press it. Maybe that's better. All right, and there's that strip. There's two more. I'm kind of pulling this a little bit as I press it to try and straighten it out just a little bit. And I just need to get the strings off the sides of this. Thank you again if you're watching this. I hope that it's something that is making your day just a little bit brighter. There's my third strip and one more, and then I can go back to the wonderful, exciting world of pinning things. iron back off and go back to pinning. Just gonna leave these for a moment and see. And Lupia, I didn't get to see you go goodbye, but I will like your comment anyway. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me that you've been watching and that anybody is pleased with my work, because I do really love the stuff that I do, and I hope that it is something that brings joy to the rest of you in the world, even if it's just through watching me make stuff. Eventually, though, I will be exhibiting this someday, somewhere. So I'm gonna set those back here. So there's another block. Move these over here when they're out of the way. And this one's ready to get its next strip attached. My scrap bin is getting kind of full of these little pieces, but they'll eventually get turned into another banner. So there's that one. Pens again. Pen pot time. It does take a lot of pins to do this many blocks at once, especially because they all need multiple pins in them to keep them nice and stable while I'm sewing. And there's that one. And there's that. Not that many more left. As you can see, the sun is starting to go down here. I need to turn the lights on. Did not change very much, but it helps a little bit, and it keeps me from suddenly being in the dark. And next to last one. So just one more, and then I can go back to sewing. So there's this one. Just going to pin that in place. And there's that. I'm just going to put these two little bits of scrap into my scrap bin and take the stack off the computer, and I'm going to turn you around and get to sewing. So back to the other angle. And I apologize if this makes the feed cut out for a bit. I've learned that it sometimes messes with the internet connection for some reason. So just gonna adjust here a little bit so that you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, so 20 blocks. Be careful not to hit the pins or I'll break my needle. And I've broken a lot of needles since I got this thing because it took me a while to figure out the nuances of what she likes and what she doesn't like. I'm just going to show you. This is a little glass head pin that one of the many ones that I use. And I'm really fond of this particular pin because it's green, but you can really see the nice little bead of glass on the end. It's the little things that make me happy. I'm doing the thing again. I always have to make sure that I'm not touching the cord for the computer or it makes it shake while I'm sewing. Also, hello. I see somebody has said hello to me. Hello to you too. I hope you are having a nice day and are enjoying watching me sew. And if you do enjoy watching me, for those of you who aren't already, I am going to be doing this sort of thing pretty much every day until I'm allowed to get back into other workshops again. So if you want to watch me tomorrow or later on, I do these little live streams every day pretty much. Not necessarily on Sundays, just because some days I need to rest. But if you give my page a like and a follow so that you can keep up to date with things. I do also cross-post any pictures that I post on my Instagram to my Facebook page, so you'll be able to see more pictures of the lovely things that I make if you want to do that. But with these, I just enjoy having a sort of conversation with the people who may or may not be watching and having a reason to continue working on my project, because I do need to get these banners done. I am going to be graded on them in a few weeks, even though it'll be on pictures of them rather than the full installation that I had planned. But this is fun. I enjoy doing it, so I don't mind all that much. It just looks like my desk is on fire where this is hitting the fabrics, doesn't it? Oh well. why the camera's shaking so much today, except... Apologies if the screen is shaking a lot when I'm sewing. I hope that the little earthquake isn't too much of a bother to you. Maybe this will work. In case you're wondering, you're on my laptop, which is sitting on my printer, which is sitting on a table that touches my sewing table. And Gertrude does cause some vibrations when I'm sewing. Don't you, girl? I think I'll just move you a little bit further back so that you're on the more stable part of the printer. That's better. Eventually I'll get my little webcam mounted somewhere in this room or some sort of setup where it's easier for you to see what I'm doing and such, but today's not going to be that day because I have to figure out what webcams to order and how to set them up and how to set them up in here because I don't really have space on my table to set up a tripod or anything. So I will have to be creative with things. But I'll figure it out. Getting there. Kind of. The seams get longer, so it ends up taking longer to sew each one as they progressively get bigger. But I'm going to get there. Just going to keep sewing these. So my plan is that I'm going to finish sewing these, and then I'm going to press them so y'all can see how the blocks are turning out. And then I'm going to stop for the day and go get some dinner because it's starting to get kind of late here. It's almost 7. Yeah, so at the very least I'm going to finish sewing these, and then I'll see how late it's gotten, and I may press them all open for you to see. So, but I'm going to be on here for a little bit longer. You can see I'm kind of running out of space to set these, but there are 20 of these blocks, so every time I sew them and they get bigger, it takes a little bit more space up on my sewing table. So here's a question for those of you who are watching. Do you have any projects that you're working on to keep yourself busy while you're indoors, or that you'd like to be working on but aren't for some reason? What sort of unfinished little craft projects do you have laying around your house? I'd love to know. I'm curious. Getting there. Only a few more left. It does take a while sewing with this machine because I can't sew over the pins. I do have to stop and take them out. And I do have to fully stop sewing because I only ever have one hand on the fabric. Getting there. This is the third to last. Two more. And last one to sew. Then I can go and press all these open and y'all can see how the blocks look. All right, there we go. Now I just have to sit here and clip all of these apart, and then I will take them over and press them. So again, when I'm clipping stuff is a great time. If you have any questions about what I'm up to or anything else that you'd like me to talk about, this is a good time to leave me a comment and I will say hello to you or whatever, because I'm just going to be sitting here snipping. So here we have kind of what they look like, but they'll all look much better once they're pressed. There's a lot of these now. There didn't seem to be this many blocks when they were small, but now that they've gotten bigger, they're really starting to take up some room when I'm doing this. All right, and now to press all of these, and then I'm going to go get dinner. So I'm going to turn you around and go back to the ironing board. See, most of my house is really just set up with art supplies and things. You can get the sun's going down, so you can see a little bit more of Farnham now. I'll move my pins out of the way. Ah, hi, Mom. I hope your webinar went well. And I'm glad you're getting to see this. I will show you one of the blocks later when I call you after this is done. But yeah, so hi, Mom. Move my little leftover white strip out of the way. And turn the iron back on. And yeah, so I just need to press all of these, and then I will be ready to show you how to just kind of stop for the day. And tomorrow I will hopefully be finishing these blocks, hopefully. So do tune in tomorrow if you want to see the exciting, hopefully, conclusion of all of this particular project, but it'll probably be a couple days, really, because I'll have to put the last row of strips on this block, and then I will need to go in and sew them all, pin them and sew them together, and then finish the edges. So here's the first one. As you can see, it's almost done. And once I add my blue stripe and then yellow stripe, these will be done. So what do y'all think? How do you like the blocks I'm making? I really do like how the colors are coming together. Again, normally, I don't know if it's because I grew up on a farm surrounded by the colors or not, but when I'm picking fabrics for projects on my own, or when I'm doing stuff, there's that one, with glass, my go-to colors when I first start working on things a lot of times are greens and browns and neutrals. But for this project, I ended up picking bright colors because they really work with that history of patchwork that I am reflecting in my glass. And so that's what I've been dyeing all my fabrics, is red and yellow and blue in varying amounts. But I do like how the bright colors come together. They're just not my first love. And I do like how they are going to look in the glass as well. It's just I won't be able to make the glass pieces to go with these patchwork panels. There's that one. For a while. But when I do make them, I will be sure to share them with you. Oh, there's that one. So again, the idea is that the full pattern, once I stitch all these blocks together to make the banner, will have the white as kind of diamonds in the center in a row, and then the yellow will be on the out, and red and blue will be on the outside. And then I will be making another panel that will have it reversed so that the colors are on the inside and the white is on the outside. And there's that one. And another one. They're all very similar, but see, I could actually make this one into the one that has the colored diamonds in the center and the white ones on the outside, but I really want this to be the one that's the other way around for some reason. So there's another one. I am happy with how these are turning out, which is good, because I'm definitely not going to unpick all my seams and start over. There's this one. And as you can see, it is starting to get a bit darker around here. So the sun is starting to go down. And when it goes down here, it goes down relatively quickly, it feels like. But I hope you are all also having lovely weather wherever you happen to be. So there's that one. Got a nice little stack started up here, don't I? So here's another one. And there's this one. I know they're all really similar, but the nice thing once they're all stitched together is going to be that there are variations in the patterns and tones on all of the colored fabrics. And then just these nice crisp white bits. That again will be going down the center. So there's that one. And here's one more. I'm getting to the bottom of the stack, really. See, it's starting to get smaller. It's just when you have 20 blocks, it does take a while to get through them all. And here's another one. And last one. I'm going to turn the iron off. And here it is. I'm going to post a picture of this up on my Instagram for everyone to see so you can see one of these a little bit up close. But I will be adding 2 more stripes to these tomorrow, and then they will be done, and then I'll be seaming them together into a banner, and I'm so excited about that because I'm ready for this thing to be done so I can pin it up on the wall with the others. And yeah, I will be continuing to do the live streams for as long as I'm able to, which basically means every day but Sunday afternoon, most likely, for the foreseeable future until I'm allowed to be in workshops again somewhere that is not my house. So I hope that this is something that brings a little bit of joy and possibly serenity, whatever you want to see in this, to your life. I hope this has been at least a little bit interesting or entertaining for you. And thank you for keeping me company while I've been working. I do really appreciate it. And it looks like my dad is watching now. Yeah, this is very similar coloring to the one I was making in the hot shop, and I will show that with some of those pieces with the banner once I get it done, so things to look forward to. But yeah, so I hope that all of you are having a absolutely wonderful day, or if you're not, that it gets better from here. And remember, no matter what's going on in the world around us, eventually things will settle somewhat. Eventually we will all be able to be physically present with our loved ones again. And just don't lose hope. The world isn't that awful of a place. It's just sometimes things are worse than others. But I love you all. I hope that you have a great, great rest of your day, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. So bye.